Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this video we're going to walk through kind of an uncommon thing for me personally, but it was a decent setup, and that was the morning day trades. Now, I don't want to just talk about the fact that I got long, because that's kind of a rehash of what I've talked about for the better part of 2 months. I mean, a lot of you know that I have a long only bias, not only for my day trades, but also for my end of day trades, and that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. But I want to touch a little bit on why, and that decision to be long, that bias, even for my intraday day trades, which take me from 9:30 to 11:30, they still come from the daily time frame and the hourly time frame occasionally as well. So we'll cover a little bit of that as well. So taking a look at the ES and NQ, ES was a pretty easy one. ES was a straight up breach retreat, and we took our clearing range breach, used a quick retracement, and off to the races. Now, I would have loved to have seen a deeper pullback, something that could have taken me down to the third deviation, -3 on the V-score. I love those kinds of trades. Those are typically my biggest, but this was still a very good trade in terms of getting that good price, not only the momentum that's friendly to reducing my risk, but also momentum that's very, very friendly to building long SPY call positions. So it's not just day trading the futures, it's day trading either the futures options or even the SPY calls. Now the NAS gave me a much better setup. And like I said, I typically will take Fridays nearly off. Not a lot of active trading on Fridays for me, but a couple things popped up. One, a really nice breach retreat, and two, we had a pretty good retest of the V-score that we put in between 9:30 and 10. And when I get that opportunity, it's pretty difficult not to want to put on a position, typically in this case, because the volatility was pretty dramatic. So this is where a futures trader, instead of going with the NQ, I'll go with the QQQ calls. Gives me a lot more latitude, gives me a lot more flexibility for more elastic support levels when I'm not really sure that the market's going to want to stop at a dime at a particular level. Now, a few things I mentioned about the daily, and I will do this whether it's Apple, whether it's crude oil, whether it's the NASDAQ, anything that I would day trade. The daily time frame is going to be a big part of the volume profile that I'll look at to determine whether or not I want to generally be long or short on any given day. I mean, the larger picture is definitely an overall uptrend, which doesn't mean we're not going to have down days. I mean, clearly we are going to have those kinds of days. But what the bigger picture is, what's the probability day to day, most likely, for movement? The probability is still, even on down days, where I might just have to take my medicine and call it a day, the probability has been for months now that the upside is going to outperform, meaning getting long is going to outperform getting short generally. Now, we can get even more granular with that, and I'll jump on over to a 1-hour chart. And this is going to allow me a little bit more flexibility to determine day to day whether I think it's good to be short or long. And I'll do the same kind of volume profile studies on a 60-minute chart. So a daily and a 60 are usually going to be the two time frames that I'll use to determine whether or not day to day I want to be looking at the long or short side for the day. But in this environment, and I really have to continue to, let's step away from sort of the good habits and things that I'll do in most other environments. Let's be specific to this environment. We are in an asset bubble, and by far, when I look at the growth of my account, it comes from this dedication, this trust to the upside. So, when I look at the July, clearly we haven't finished October, so I will definitely look at that at the end of the month, but I will study August week to week. But, when I look back at July, and now this would have been since June 10th, we had the bullish bias. So June, July, now into August, 2 full months of overnight only longs and intraday only longs. It's really given me those higher probability opportunities. I mean, no doubt about that. So the strategies, the patterns that I look at in the morning, now remember, this is trading looking for trades the first 2 hours of the day, really the first 60 minutes of the day, looking to sort of be done positioning within the first 2 hours of the day, and determining what days are valid for sort of those larger ranging days where I could expect more upside, or those days where I'm best to determine that, you know what, let's just at 11:30, 12 o'clock Eastern, let's just stop the trades there. And that brings me to what we're going to be doing this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. And that's going to be walking through a lot of the things that you see me outline in video after video, and get into some of the nitty gritty of what I've been doing the past month, get into a deep study of July, but also what is it that I typically do when I am intraday trading, the patterns that I look for, the windows of opportunity, and what's really been working very well in this environment that I suspect is going to keep right on working into November and beyond. I mean, this is the culmination of day trading since the late 90s, and really tweaking it as we go forward, understanding more about volatility and volume and all the things that I think are going to make you, allow you to turn the corner and make you a much better day trader. So you can join me over at on Thursday, the 20th, and let me give you the URL because who can read that? So that's actually simplertrading.com/pattern. A lot of you know that I only teach classes, twice or so a year. And this is one that I'm super excited because this is the first time I've done a really deep dive on my day trading. So come check out the free video, simplertrading.com/pattern. I'm going to show you tons of charts, tons of examples of what I've been doing, how I identify those opportunity windows. And this is a case study on what I've been doing 2 hours a day for the last 2 months. All right. Okay, gang, I'll see you in the next update.